Bienvenue à Envy Motovlog. Willkommen zu Envy Motovlog. Yippee! Alright guys, so just got done watching the France versus Germany soccer match. Football. And well, I've never mentioned this, but I was born in France, and pretty much my entire family are direct descendants of Germans, and some of them are from the Netherlands, but my mother is born in Germany, and we are primarily a German family. So I was a little bit torn when it came to this game. I didn't know who to root for, so I didn't really root for anyone, or I guess a better way to put it is I rooted for both of them. Ooh, oh, you're not supposed to do that in sports, but I did it anyways. Ooh. Anyways, so rooted for both teams, and thought I'd put my analysis of the game into ein Motovlog, yeah? So, here it is. Okay. I was watching the game, and honestly, I saw advantages and disadvantages for both teams. It was really interesting match to watch. I wasn't really on the edge of my seat for either team, because I knew that one of them had to win and one of them had to lose. I thought that the French, actually let me start with the Germans, the winners. The score was 1-0, by the way. Spoiler alert. I guess I'm supposed to say that before I say the actual score, but I didn't. Anyways, the score was 1-0 Germany, with a header from Matt Hummels. I believe that's his first name, Matt. Could be wrong, but it's definitely Hummels that made the header. Pretty nice one. And the Germans' advantage during that entire game, I think pretty much during the entire World Cup, and probably the only team that has this advantage other than maybe even the Netherlands, is size advantage. They are much taller than anyone else in the World Cup. So it's just it's interesting to see how they play. I've honestly thought that the last few games they've been extremely passive. They keep passing it back to Neuer when they're not sure how to attack, and they're very patient, which has its benefits, but it also has its drawbacks. Also, I feel like when they score, they hold the ball. They don't try and score more, which you know, in a way is sportsmanlike. But when it comes to the World Cup, you know, you kind of have to say fuck it. You don't want to be risking anything with a 1-0 lead. They didn't do that so much this game, which was a credit to them. They also Jogi Löw made a lot of adjustments to the lineup, which was fantastic. He put Klose in, who's been just an amazing jump start whenever he comes off the bench, and he did pretty well this game. He didn't have much of an impact, necessarily a direct impact, but he definitely I think his presence was definitely felt. Apart from that, okay, so the Germans have definite size advantage. They're definitely taller, so anytime you have corners, you got to watch out, because the Germans, with their height advantage, they'll definitely put one away with some force. They have probably the most well-balanced team in the World Cup. They don't necessarily have the best in everything. I don't think that their individual players are the best in any one category other than goalkeeping. Neuer is fantastic. I would say he's the best goalkeeper in the world. Although, I will say, Howard, unbelievable performance. I was stunned by how well he did against Belgium the other day. Anyways, though, so that's really the only advantage, the real advantage that they have over any one team, except for the fact that they're, as a whole package, they're an excellent team. Müller is a fantastic player, but I feel like there's still better players, better strikers. I believe he's a striker. Better strikers in the world. So Germany has the height advantage, the size advantage, had the size advantage over France. They also played I have a hard time saying this word, methodologically. I don't think that's right. Whatever. They played very systematic. Ooh, I used a different word. Switch it up. Yeah, they played very systematic, and they played well. They weren't quite as passive as they were in most of their other games, which was fantastic. They were a little more aggressive, so that plays to credit to them. Like I said, I felt like in their past games they were a little too passive and held the ball for a little bit too long. Didn't take as many risks, which I feel like, although it's kind of a safe way to play, they should have taken shots from a little further out when they had the opportunity, things like that, which they did in this game a little bit more, although I still think they can improve even more. So that's the Germans. Now, what did the French do right? I did not think that game was a blowout by any means. I know obviously a 1-0 score doesn't indicate a blowout, but sometimes it can seem like a blowout if you watch the game and the score is only like 1-0. If a team shoots like 30 times a goal and the other team shoots like twice, that's pretty much a blowout, even if the other team only scores once. So yeah, what did France do well? Because they did do a lot of things well. I think they started off kind of slow. They are a quicker team. They are definitely a quicker team than the Germans. They are smaller than the Germans. They don't have very many tall players. They don't have very many big players. But they have, in my opinion, a little bit better in the front. They have a little bit better players on an individual level, not team-wise. Not if you take a macro perspective and pull out and look at the whole team, you'll think, okay, the Germans are fantastic. But if you look at them individual players, they're still great. They're still great. But I do think I would take somebody like Benzema over Müller. That would just be my personal preference. And he definitely showed it. He's definitely scary. I'm talking about Benzema. Benzema is quite a scary player to be guarding. All right, take your time. Benzema is a scary player to be defending because he is very good and he can shoot the lights out. He is really good. Germany did a really good job on defense trying to eliminate his presence. They did a fantastic job with that. Anytime he got the ball, which was scary for the Germans, the moment he got that ball, the Germans would collapse on him and usually would deflect his shots, which was great. Let's go down here, shall we? So, Benzema as an individual player is fantastic. Let's see, who else? They did not play Giroud. They played, I can't remember his name. The other guy. doesn't play too much to his credit for me not to remember his name. But he played pretty well, honestly. France was, in the second half, France was definitely on the attack, and they're definitely a riskier team. They definitely push the limits a little bit, which I think is to their credit. They don't do it too much to the point where it backfires on them. But their strikers are definitely good enough, and they definitely take a few risks here and there, which is makes them entertaining to watch, and also makes them a really deadly team because they're full of great players. So, their strengths. France, like I said, I think they're individual players. Some of them are better in one-on-one situations. I feel like they're more aggressive. I feel like they're more agile, a little bit quicker. Their disadvantages were that they were a little smaller. Well, not a little. In certain cases, they were much smaller than the Germans. So that played to the German credit. Yeah, just overall, I mean, I don't have that much else to say, but that's basically my breakdown of the game. The first half, I think the Germans had pretty much good control over the game, and the second half, I think France started playing better than the Germans were playing. Maybe that's because Germany was up 1-0 and they kind of let their foot off the gas, which doesn't, it doesn't make much sense if you're only up 1-0, but I've seen it happen with Germany. So yeah, that's my analysis. I think both teams played really well. I think either team could have won. I think for now, I would say the slightly better team won, Germany. So I'm happy. They will probably play Brazil in the semifinals, and I feel that they will wreck Brazil. I'm not saying that they're going to necessarily score like 5 goals or anything like that, but I do think they're going to score at least, well, I would say I'm going to go with 2. I'm going to go with 2 goals. I'm going to go 2 goals to 1. Okay, 2 goals to 1, which again doesn't necessarily indicate that Germany is destroying Brazil, but I think they'll shoot at goal a lot more, and they'll have possession a lot more than Brazil will. All right, that wraps that up. That's my analysis. So that's all I got to say.